Hey everyone, welcome to another Mondays with Melissa. I'm actually going to be answering a listener question today. So I had someone reach out to me and ask me questions, several questions about toddlers, toddler tantrums. And so today I'm going to focus on toddler tantrums and we're going to kind of reframe how we look at those. And I'm going to give you some suggestions on what to do when our kiddos are having those big tantrums that can sometimes feel a lot to us. So we're going to talk about that. I also got a lot of questions on potty training over the past few weeks. And so I am going to save that. I thought about doing it all in this episode, but I feel like that's too much. So I'm going to save the questions and answers about potty training for the May question and answer episode. So if you have not subscribed to my podcast, I would suggest that you click that little button and subscribe so that you don't miss the potty training episode at the end of May. Because if you're waiting for that one, you might just, that's a long time away. So subscribe so that you don't miss that one. And also there'll be lots of others in between there that you will get that are just super great. So, okay, today we're going to talk about tantrums. So the first thing that I would like us to really take a step back and look at when we are talking about toddler tantrums is what has our little one experienced in their bodies? Did they have acid reflux? Did they have a hard time having bowel movements? Were they lactose intolerant and we didn't realize it right away? Did they have a hard time sleeping? Did they experience adversity, maybe exposure in utero or a difficult birth or even a difficult pregnancy? Were they hospitalized at all? Did they experience pain in their bodies that a typical developing child, not that your child is not typical, but all of our kids experience life in a different way. And so I want you to think about that first, because if we have a kiddo who has experienced pain in a different way, or has stomach aches a lot, or certain foods upset them, or they have a hard time making passing bowels, or um, so many different things, right? They experience adversity. Maybe they experience some abuse or neglect. And so their bodies just feel different. Their nervous system gets activated a lot quicker. So if we can keep that in mind, it sometimes allows us to see our kiddos' tantrums from a different lens. And sometimes just that can make it feel less um, activating to our nervous system, right? Because that's the reality is if it happens so often, sometimes it starts to get us amped up. So I want us to think about that first. The other thing I want us to really think about that kind of comes after that is our kiddo in connection mode or protection mode? Now, if you don't know who Robin Goebel is, I will link her podcast and her latest book in the show notes. But that is her way of describing basically if our nervous system is activated or if our nervous system is calm. Are we in distress or are we soothed? And so are we in connection mode or are we in protection mode? And if we have a kiddo who experienced maybe a lot of tummy troubles in their first year of life, then them feeling hungry might put them into protection mode, which then will look like big feelings, big tantrums, lots of tears, crying, yelling, screaming over the littlest thing. And it will make no sense unless we can pull back and really look at what have they experienced and is our kiddo in connection mode or protection mode, right? And so if they're in protection mode, then they are going to be more easily activated. This is where we're going to see those tantrums. So what we want to be focusing on is how do we get them back into connection mode? Before we talk about that, and before I give you a couple of things to consider, to try to think about, I first want to say, can we look at tantrums in a different way? Instead of seeing them as tantrums, which to me really feels like a controlled thing, like a toddler tantrum is something that a toddler does to get their way. But the reality is, you guys, these are just big feelings. Toddlers don't know what it is to feel disappointed or frustrated or what this pain in my stomach is or what it is to be scared or really angry or stressed or embarrassed or lonely or jealous. Like our toddlers don't know what these feelings are, but they're very real. And if we think about what we feel like, what does our body do when we're experiencing those big feelings? Our body usually feels something, whether it's you know, in my chest, maybe some activation, my heart starts to race and I can feel that. Whether it's I feel blood kind of going up to my head and I start to feel a little bit hotter. Whether it's I realize I'm clenching my fists. Whether I feel the tears starting to come up, well up from behind my eyes, and I can feel it getting hot under here, under my eyes. I usually feel something physical when I'm having those big feelings. And toddlers don't understand that. Their body might still be doing those things, but they don't have the ability to connect that with emotion yet. So let's think of these tantrums as our kiddos are having big emotions. Maybe they have these painful feelings in their body from having a stomach ache, from having a food allergy or an intolerance, from experiencing early hospitalizations, maybe from being drug or alcohol exposed in utero. Those are all real feelings our kiddos are having, and we expect them to be able to identify them and not throw a fit and not have a big feeling and not cry big crocodile tears. Our kiddos are supposed to do that. That's what they're trying to say to you. That's their way of using their voice to say, something is not right and I need your help. So let's reframe. They're not tantrums, they're big feelings, or they're not understanding what's happening in their body, or they're feeling pain differently because of their history of feeling pain. Okay, so we're trying to, reframe. We've already talked about a few things that allow us to kind of reframe how we see toddler tantrums, which now from this point forward we're going to call big feelings. That's what I'm going to call them. Okay, so whether those feelings are emotions or those feelings are bodily sensations, physical sensations. Okay, so big feelings. So the first thing we want to do if we have a toddler who is having a big feeling is we want to the first thing we're going to do is really take a step back and remember what we just talked about. Okay, they're seeing the world through a different lens. Their body is feeling something. They're having some big feelings. Okay, that's the first thing we're going to do every single time. Now we're going to help them regulate, which is called co-regulation. So this is the idea that we don't expect our young ones to regulate their bodies on themselves. If we think about our baby in the first year of life, when our baby is dysregulated because they're hungry, tired, wet, maybe scared, maybe cold, whatever it is, they cry and they cry loud and they work those lungs, right? And do we set baby in a crib and say, when you're calm, I will come help you? Or do we hold them and rock them and soothe them and pat their back and maybe swaddle them, give them a bottle, change their diaper, meet their need, right? And so we're starting to teach our babies in that first year of life how to regulate their bodies. But we can't expect after just 1 year of that they're going to figure out how to do it. So then we move into a stage called co-regulation, which can last a very long time and even into adulthood. Sometimes I still need co-regulation from my husband. 30-second full body hug, please. And his hugging, his calm body, his calm heart rate against my body allows me to co-regulate, or allows him to co-regulate me, I should say, and calm my nervous system. So co-regulation is the idea that through connection, we are going to help our toddler bring their nervous system down, bring the breathing down, bring the heart rate down, calming their body. So there's some different things I've jotted down that you could try. This is probably going to be trial and error unless you absolutely, as I'm saying this, know exactly what helps your child calm down. Great. Not everybody does. And sometimes one thing will work today, but it won't work tomorrow. So we need to have a few ideas. So hold them. Whether that is you scoop them up and you're holding them up here and kind of patting them like you did when they were an infant, whether that means you're holding them across your lap and rocking them like when they were an infant, right? Whether that means wrapping a blanket around them, almost like a swaddle, but not a swaddle, but kind of that feeling of like a big hug, and then we hold them and re-rock them. Those are some ideas. Drinking a cold drink out of a straw can be helpful. So the sucking sensation, remember in that first year of life, the pacifier, and if your kiddo still has a pacifier as a toddler, maybe the pacifier can be something that can help. That's not bad. That's actually good, because the sucking can help calm the brain and bring the brain to a place where it can say, oh, okay, we're safe now. So the sucking motion, but also the cold water, cold juice, cold drink coming into the body can be enough to trigger the system that we're safe and to calm down, just like a warm drink. So maybe a warm bottle if if your kiddo is still on bottles. Another idea would be chulery. So this is maybe some, there's like little straws, little chulery silicone straws that they can chew on, or even a necklace that they wear that they can chew on. So there's all sorts of different, I will link some of my favorite chulery that we still use with our 6-year-old that really does help him calm down. And so chulery could be something for them to just chew on. A blanket, maybe a weighted blanket that is a weighted lap blanket, or a weighted stuffed animal with a calming scent to it that you could just hold with them. Rocking them, I think I already said that. Baby wearing, if you have a kiddo who is still small enough to be worn, baby wearing can be great. Preference on the front. If it has to be the back, that's fine too, because they're still feeling your heart rate. But in the front, you're able to pat them, rub them, have eye contact. They're closer to your vocal cords, so they can like hear you humming or singing, right? And then bubbles are another great idea for our toddler age kiddos, blowing bubbles with them. Maybe initially you start blowing the bubbles and then they'll want to blow the bubbles, and that can be a calming activity. Okay, so once we are working through co-regulation, then we're going to move into connection. Now, you might already be connecting with your toddler through some of the things that we just talked about. You might already be connecting through holding them or blowing bubbles with them or rocking them, right? But we want to move into a connecting activity. So maybe we're reading, let's grab a book. And so we're already sitting here snuggling and rocking and kind of wrapped in a blanket. Now let's grab a book and we can read together. Maybe some baby massage. So there's some great baby massage tutorials on YouTube. I'll link those in the show notes as well, where maybe you just get some lavender lotion or some lotion that your kiddo likes. Maybe the lotion you use after bath time, because that will remind their body that that's a calm time. And we're just going to do some baby massage on them. Rub their feet, rub their belly, rub their hands. Another idea could be coloring together. It's a very rhythmic activity that is connected but also calming. Having a snack together, going for a walk together, doing chalk outside. The eye contact and healthy touch are the most important part of the connecting, okay? So we've helped them regulate. We've moved into a connecting activity. And you might be thinking like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Weren't we just talking about a tantrum, or what we're calling big feelings? Are we getting off track? This feels really counterintuitive. Aren't we supposed to be teaching them to use their words and to how to not do that? Okay, I hear you, but that's what we're doing. We cannot expect our toddlers to be able to regulate their bodies on their own, and we need to be connected so that there's that connection versus protection mode that we talked about earlier, and that they know that they can trust us to help them move through this. So now here's where we're going to address the big feelings. We're going to meet their need. There's no need for consequences. There's no need for us to really dig into teaching them how to not throw a tantrum, because what we would really be saying then is let's teach them how not to have big feelings. And we want our kids to be able to know that feelings are okay, right? It's not okay to hit when we have big feelings, or bite or spit or scratch, but it's okay to have big feelings. And our toddlers, all these things that we've just talked about, have not made that connection yet of what do I do with these big feelings, right? And so this is where we want to meet the need. Is the need connection? Have we maybe been so busy on our phone or working or doing a project that they've actually been on their own playing very nicely, but maybe for a little bit too long? And so now they're trying to get our attention. Are they hungry? And it feels like pain to them because of their history of having stomach aches and tummy issues. Are they just hungry and that's uncomfortable? Are they thirsty? Are they tired? Did they not sleep well last night, or is it nap time? So we want to really be looking at what is the need here. Empathize with them. Gosh, this is really hard, isn't it, buddy? Right? Or I hear you. I hear that you need something right now. Let's figure out what you need. And maybe even if they're a little bit of an older toddler, you might be able to ask them, what do you need? And they might be able to tell you, I need you to put your phone down. Right? Like that happens, and it's very humbling, and we have to just like own it and be present, right? Um we can say to our kiddos, let's try that again. I know that you're sad, or I know that this is really hard for you, but can you say, I need help? Maybe you teach them the baby sign for help. So it's just a flat palm with your left hand. You make a fist, and actually you do a thumbs up with your right palm. Set that right palm right on top of your flat hand, and you lift up. That means help. So with toddlers, sometimes they're just trying to get help and they don't know how to say that because they're still learning. They're still learning how to use their voice in the right way. Now, we don't want to shut them down. If we're shutting them down and saying, you're going to a timeout because you're throwing a tantrum, or I'm not going to listen to you until you use your kind words, then we're telling them you don't have a voice, because they haven't learned yet what to do or what to say or how to use their voice in a way that's going to get those needs met. So this third step is looking at what is the need and then giving them words for that. I need help. Whoop. I need help. Or I'm hungry, or I'm thirsty, right? Or hold me. I need a love. I need a hug. And we may even just have to say to them, it looks like you need a hug. Do you need a hug? And we give them that big hug. Okay. So these are some things for us to consider when we're dealing with toddlers who have big feelings. And if you have questions about any of this, or you want to like dig in a little bit more, or you have a specific scenario you want to talk through, I am always happy and willing to talk through things with you. So you can email me, melissa@mendingfamilieswa.com. You can go to my website, and there's a button there where you can sign up for a free consultation phone call where we can just talk through something. If you would like to do that, it's free. So why not, right? So that is a great way. And then also my monthly membership is another great way. And here's the thing about my monthly membership, because anyone in my membership can ask these questions at any time. They can call me, they can text me. I have had multiple members in the membership take advantage of this piece where I have a 10-minute phone call with them and we talk through something, right? That's part of being in the membership. But the thing about the membership is it is closing at the end of this month, which is just in a few days. 2 days, 1 day. Is it tomorrow? I don't even know. I just know that at the end of April, the membership closes. And when I reopen in August, the price will go up because it's going to be better than ever with the shiny new bells and whistles. It'll be worth the raise in price. However, if you want to lock in at the $16 a month right now and know that even when it comes back in August, better, bigger and better than ever, you won't have to pay the new price. You will still get to only pay $16 a month. I would suggest that you do that before it closes. So you have just another day or two left before that happens. Do that now. Go to my website, www.mendingfamilieswa.com, and you can scroll down to the button that says membership, or you can just do /membership at the end of my membership, or at the end of my website, and that will take you to the membership page as well. So those are all great ways if you want to be able to pick my brain more and learn more about toddler big feelings. I'm happy to do that with you. Okay, remember, subscribe, because next month we're going to be talking about potty training, which is also equally sometimes really hard, right? Okay, you guys, I will see you next week. Next week, I have a new friend to me. Her name is Autumn, and she's a former teacher turned stay-at-home mom, but she has taken her passion of teaching and turned it outward to us mamas. And so she has some really good things to share about what she is. She has a website and different, I'm trying to think of what the word is that I'm looking of. Resources for us as mamas to help us. And that is her heart, is to teach and help us as mamas. So I'm excited for you to hear more about her and what she is doing in this community of moms. Dads, you're welcome to listen to, because the reality is it doesn't matter if we're a mom or a dad. We all struggle and we all need help. So come back next week for my interview with Autumn. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. Okay, bye friends.